Have you ever looked around and wondered why some people seem to build wealth so easily, while the rest of us are struggling no matter how much we make? Well, the answer might not be in their wallet, but in their head. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of wealth because it turns out your own brain is the most powerful and maybe overlooked tool you have for building a real fortune.
So let's start with a question that, let's be honest, we've all asked ourselves. Why is saving money so ridiculously hard? You know you should be doing it, but then life happens, the month ends, and there's just nothing left to put away. It can feel like you're constantly fighting an uphill battle. But what if the real fight isn't about the numbers on your paycheck? Okay, before we jump into the solutions, we really need to get a handle on the problem. We are all facing what you could call a modern money challenge. And it's driven by these powerful, kind of invisible forces that are shaping every single financial decision we make. And look, this isn't just a gut feeling, it's a reality for millions of people. Data from JP Morgan Chase paints a pretty stark picture. For households earning less than $20,000 a year, more than a third of them would need over 6 months just to save up $1,000 for an emergency. Think about that. That highlights a very real struggle. But here's the real twist in the story. While income is definitely a piece of the puzzle, the bigger battle is often the one happening right between our ears. Some incredible research suggests that our financial choices are about 90% emotion and only 10% rational thought. Yeah, you heard that right. We think we're being logical with our money, but most of the time, our feelings are the ones behind the wheel. The thing is, our brains come preloaded with these little glitches or cognitive biases that can totally sabotage our financial goals. We're talking about things like loss aversion, where the pain of losing $20 feels way, way worse than the joy of finding $20. Or the status quo bias, which is just a fancy way of saying we stick to our old habits even when they're not working for us. And don't even get me started on the fear of missing out, FOMO, which basically screams at us to spend money we don't have to keep up. Okay, so if our brains are basically wired to work against us, how in the world do we fight back? Well, we need a force that's even more powerful than our own worst impulses. And that force, my friends, is the single greatest secret weapon for building wealth: compounding. So what is this magic? It's actually pretty simple. Compound interest is just interest that starts earning its own interest. It means it's not just your original money working for you anymore. Now the money that money earned starts working for you too. It creates this incredible snowball of growth that just gets bigger and faster over time. Let's paint a picture here. Simple interest is like having a goose that lays one golden egg every day. It's nice, it's steady, but that's all you get. Compounding, on the other hand, is where those golden eggs hatch into more geese, and then those geese start laying their own eggs. That small difference at the beginning blows up into massive exponential growth down the road. You know, this idea is so incredibly powerful that it's often attributed to Albert Einstein himself. He supposedly called it the most powerful force in the universe. And look, when one of these certified smartest people in human history is completely blown away by a math principle, we should probably lean in and pay close attention. To really get this, let's try an analogy from the website Better Explained. Imagine your first investment is like a tiny money factory. In that first year, your little factory works hard and produces a small, $10 money-making machine. Not bad, right? It's a solid start. But this is where the magic really kicks in. In year 2, your original factory is still chugging along, but now that little machine it built last year, it starts producing too. All of a sudden, your growth isn't just steady anymore. It's accelerating. It's picking up speed. That is the heart and soul of compounding. So this money factory sounds pretty great, doesn't it? The big question is, how do we actually build one? Well, you need the right tools for the job. And the best tools are specifically designed to let compounding do its thing while keeping taxes as low as possible. We're talking about retirement accounts. Okay, so there are two main players in this game: the traditional IRA and the Roth IRA. And honestly, the choice between them really boils down to one simple but really important question. Do you want to pay your taxes now, or would you rather pay them later? Let's start with the Roth IRA. With a Roth, you put in money that you've already paid taxes on. Now the huge, and I mean huge, payoff is that all that incredible compound growth and every single penny you pull out in retirement is 100% tax-free. This is an absolutely amazing option if you think you'll be in a higher tax bracket later in life. The traditional IRA is basically the mirror image. You might get a tax deduction for the money you put in today, which is great because it lowers your tax bill right now. The catch? You have to pay regular income tax on all the money you take out when you retire. This could be a smarter move if you expect to be in a lower tax bracket when you finally stop working.
All right. Having the right tool, like an IRA, that's one thing. But actually using it and using it consistently, well, that means we have to circle all the way back to where we started this conversation. We have to win the battle against our own minds. It's time to hack your own brain. So how do you do it? Well, it really just comes down to 3 key steps. First, you gotta educate yourself on the basics, know what you're doing. Second, you need to set clear, exciting goals that actually motivate you. But honestly, the third step, that's the most powerful of them all. You have to automate.
Seriously, automation is the ultimate psychological cheat code for your finances. It's the perfect counterattack against all those biases we talked about earlier. It totally bypasses your brain's bad habits by setting up a new, better default. The money gets invested before you even see it, so there's nothing to miss. It makes saving the easy, automatic default choice.
Wow, okay, we have covered a lot of ground, from the weird psychology that holds us back to the incredible mathematical force that can launch us forward. So let's bring it all home and boil it down to the absolute key takeaways. All right, here's what you need to remember. First, struggling to save is often more about psychology than the size of your paycheck. Second, compound interest is the engine of wealth. You have to get it working for you. Third, use the right tools, like Roth or traditional IRAs, to let that engine run as tax efficiently as possible. And finally, and this is the most important one, automate your savings. It is, hands down, the easiest way to win the war against your brain's own worst instincts.
Look, understanding all this stuff is the first step, but it's taking action that actually builds a future. Your financial success isn't built on 1,000 complicated moves. It's built on getting a few simple decisions right, over and over again, starting right now. So the only question left is, what's your first decision gonna be?